All right, ladies and gentlemen, lesson 4, well, chapter 4 in general, we're going to be reviewing our key components to percentages. In chapter 4.1, we're going to hit some of the basics, modeling percentages, writing percents as equivalent fractions, and then also writing percentages as decimals. So let's start with some of the basics. First of all, percents, those are representations that compare a number to 100. Usually, well, we can do it as a fraction, we can do the decimal version of it, we can also do the actual percentage that has that funny little sign. But all of these representatives or representations compare numbers to 100, or in some cases takes a group and says, okay, if this group is either expanded or contracted to 100, how many out of the group satisfies a situation? And so the idea in and of itself, that even the word percent, you'll notice up here I broke it up into colors. Per means out of, cent means 100. So again, if we were to take even a small group, say you have a small group of 40 people, and you were to expand that group to 100, well, out of that 100, how many people would satisfy a certain situation? Or if we had a large group, say of thousands, and we shrunk it down to 100, how many people or things or items would satisfy the given situation? Again, taking the large group and constricting it down to 100. The other part or important piece of percentages and is the basic concept is it's a part out of a whole. Okay, so we have a situation, and a lot of times for those students who are in a school setting, I take a test and I get a certain score. Well, I take my score, which would be the part, I divide it by the whole, okay, and so and that's giving me a decimal number. I then multiply that decimal by 100, because multiplying by 100 moves the decimals 2 places to the right. So we're saying that if I were to take a test that had 100 possible, or it had a possible score of 100, my percentage is what I would have scored on the particular test. So out of 100 is an important concept. Now we can model percentages in various ways. Here you'll notice I have a hundreds chart, and so our job here is to, and when it's hundreds, you'll see up here 10 by 10, so 10 wide, 10 tall, so 10 rows of 10. And we are going to model, in this particular case, 24%. Well, that means then very simply, I'm going to color in 24 of my chart here. So again, I know that, and I can do this any way I want. If you want to come up with some special pattern, you can, and so on. I'm just simply going to highlight 24 boxes. Now I'm going to start by doing 20 boxes because I know 10 times 2 is 20. So I'm just going to fill those in first. So 2 rows of 10, and okay. So and then I obviously need 4 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to go this way again. So 24 in this particular case, 24%. I'm highlighting in this case 24 boxes out of 100. And again, it's not special how I chose to color this. It's just like I said, you could have done some silly little pattern or something like that if you wanted to, but 24% literally means 24 out of 100. Okay, so then we're going to review our converting of percentages to fractions. And so our first example here, we're going to write 35% as a fraction, and let me get my pointer working here. Here we go. And very simply, all we have to do to take a percentage and make it into a fraction is place it over 100. And 100 will be the denominator. And then I would like you, and this is just sort of a habit that we do in mathematics anyway, is we reduce our fractions to lowest terms. So in this particular case, I have my percentage is 35. So this is 35 out of 100. So my fraction is 35 hundredths. And then in this particular case, you'll notice that I do have some reducing that can be done, because in this case both of these have a common factor of 5. And so if I divide both the top, the numerator and denominator by 5, that will leave me 7 out of 20. Okay, 7/20ths. But very simply, to write a decimal or a percentage as a fraction, we place this number here over 100. Okay. Converting percentages to decimals. All right, now, so we're doing something a little bit different there, or here is now we're going to take this and go to its decimal format. Now, there are two common methods, and one is sort of the long way, and the second is the shortcut version of how to do it. The long way. Okay, here is the long method, and that is to take the percentage and write it as a fraction, and then to divide the numerator by 100. Okay, this is the long way. So if I do that, this means it's 43 hundredths, right? 43 hundredths. But then to go to a decimal, and again going the long way, I take the numerator, and this is where our long division comes in, and I divide by 100, and I go through all of my division steps. And so again, I'm doing the long way. So does 100 go into 4? No. Does 100 go into 43? No. Does 100 go to 430? Yes. 4 times. 4 times 100 is 400. And I subtract, and I get my 3 here, and this is 0, but I bring my 0 down. So 100 into 300 goes 3 times, and that is 300. And so now I have 0, and here it is. My decimal representation is 0.43 or 43 hundredths. Okay, and you can do this. This will work. Take your percentage value here and divide by 100. Basically, is what it comes down to. That is the long way. Okay, that is the way, and it's doable. The short way is simply to move the decimal 2 places to the left in our percentage. So now you have to realize that, and this goes back to our 3rd grade mathematics or so. In this number here, some people will go, well, there's no decimal. Well, yes, there is. We know that in any number, if the decimal is not given, it will be at the end. It is assumed in mathematics to be at the end. And so my job here, the quick way, the shortcut, is to move that decimal 2 places to the left. And you'll notice when I do so, I get my 0.43 or my 43 hundredths. Okay. And so that would be the shortcut. Method 2 is the shortcut. Move the decimal 2 places to the left. But it does the same thing as dividing by 100. Okay. And same here. Okay. If I want to go 30 and 75 hundredths as a decimal, method 2, the quick way, is just simply to move the decimal 2 places to the left. So 0.3075 would be my decimal representation. If you want to 0 out from front, you can. Now, so, and that's this method 2 is what I would go with. It saves your life, as long as you realize that we're taking this number and we're dividing by 100. I can do this one as well. I'm skipping the whole put it over 100 part. I'm going directly to the divide by 100 part. And you'll notice, okay, does 100 go into 3? No. Does 100 go into 30? No. Does 100 go into 30 307? Yes, it does, 3 times, which would be 300. So 307 minus 300 is 7. Drop my 5. Does 100 go into 75? No. Add a 0. Drop it. Does 100 go into 750? Yes, it does, 7 times. 7 times 100 is 700. When I subtract, I'm left with 50. Add a 0. Drop it. 100 into 500 5 times. That is 500. And it terminates right there. And you'll notice my decimal comes up, so it works out either way, but the method number 2 is definitely the shortest. So, and that will get us to the end. Once again, I forgot my little ending slide. I'm going to have to add that in later. So in your notes, it'll probably be there by the time I print this out for you. So, but any questions, come see me, and good luck, and you may begin.